Lynn again. This is Lynn Logic. Welcome to this week's episode, Season 3, Episode 9, The Soul of Music, Part 1. Let me explain something. Lynn Logic is now in 3 parts. Lynn Logic, the main one, this is where I will tell my stories. Lynn Logic, Women Forged in Fire, this showcases women who are badasses. And now, introducing Duuude. Lynn Logic. That is Duuude with 3 U's. This will showcase male guests, and have I got an awesome first guest for this? And we will get into it. But first, if you want to be a guest on Lynn Logic, send me an email at lynnlevine@gmail.com. Slots are booking up fast. I figure with me being at 250,000 views a month, I can share my audience. And if you would like me to be a guest on your podcast, email me at lynnlevine@gmail.com. Same one as before, but it gives me the chance to repeat the email. I totally did 2 guest spots this week. So much fun. I would love to do more. Side quest. I want to take a moment here. My microphone broke. This is the second time I am recording this, and the only other microphone I have is this. This was my late husband's. Now, this microphone would be excessive for my use, in case I wanted to pick up the cat farting in the other room. My late husband loved music. It was a love we shared. He would spend hours making music. I used to say that his music setup looked like the inside of a rocket ship. It dwindled over the years as he pawned stuff, but it is also the reason why I own an EMU E6400 sampler, among other things. And I still have all my late husband's songs. He loved drum and bass and would spend hours and days on music, and I loved it for him because he had absolute joy while he was making his music. When he completed a drum and bass remix with the Hellraiser theme song, I was so excited, and it was so good. I was always hoping that he would make me a drum and bass remix of the Sanford and Son theme song, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to. His birthday was June 27th, a week ago. His death date is coming up, July 13th. This is a somber time of year for me. This year was easier than the last, but more difficult than the next. Happy birthday, Drew, you dumbass. By the way, Drew would have been ecstatic about this episode. So excited and happy about it, this one is for him. He would be so jealous. Green with envy, really. Which reminds me of a story about Drew. So we're going to double down on the side quest. One day I was cleaning the floors in the living room, one of the few domestic tasks I'm capable of doing and not breaking something. I broke the washing machine twice and lost the iron for 3 years. Well, I was cleaning the floor and had moved the dining room chairs about. There was the prettiest rainbow coming through the window, just casting through the room. And my husband jumps on a chair, pulls down the front of his pants with the rainbow appropriately placed, and yells out, "Taste the rainbow." Oh, we laughed at that for years, and I still laugh at it now. Okay, end of side quest. Before we get into it, let me first give you a quick recap. I'm a widow of a cross-dressing alcoholic, and I'm a survivor of a blood clot in my brain caused by birth control pills, an experience that ultimately led to a hysterectomy. I am also the daughter of a man who spent 23 years in prison. Trauma and I are well acquainted. Those are just the top 3 highlights, or as I like to say, the part of the iceberg I show. I may come across as a walking embodiment of Murphy's Law, but laughter has always been part of my survival plan. Professionally, I've spent 25 years working in accounting and operations across real estate, car dealerships, and hotels. I also hold a BA in psychology. I have always loved patterns, numbers, and categories. Lynn Logic exists because of that love. Before we get into it, if you like thoughtful, honest conversations that don't pretend life is tidy, go ahead and like, subscribe, and stick around. This channel grows by word of mouth, not bullshit. If you want to fast track into the Lynn Logic library, check out the combined videos, My Narrative, and The Worst Day Ever for a crash course. Also, Lynn Logic is now a podcast, which means you can listen to me while other people talk at you. You can find the podcast on Dystopia, YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Patreon, and Spotify, which, like YouTube, Spotify holds both video and audio. I'm trying to be everywhere. Can you tell? Follow along on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and TikTok too. Over on Dystopia, I've made merch because, of course, I did. My twisted sense of humor also comes with visuals. You're welcome. Let's get started. How do I explain my love of music? I mean, it is a hug, a scream, a cry, a smile, a memory, and so much more. Music heals, and after I had the blood clot in my brain, I had and have memory issues. Both short and long term were affected. While the short term is still affected by it, I was able to use music to help heal the long term memory issues. Let me explain. Music has been in my life since always. My parents were groupies. I started singing at 11 years old. I have been to an abnormal amount of shows. Not as much as some of the members in my family. I'm talking to you, Uncle Arnold. Suffice it to say, I had a bunch of memories surrounding music and was able to remember things first by listening to songs from my life. After that, because of my brain's love of patterns and making bridges and connections, one memory easily fed into another. As far as music, I still start my day with it, dancing and singing around, which is only dangerous when I do it in the shower. The dancing. The singing is safe. Loud, but safe. Also, in case you want to know, my first concert was Fleetwood Mac in Chicago, and it was amazing. I don't know why I did that, but it was so much fun. Actually, I'm going to tell you a little side bit is my mom left my sister and I to go find better seats and came back smelling funny. It was a great show. And here's the other side bit. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. One of my mom's cats, his name's Stevie Nicks. The other one's name is Charlie Daniels. I met Clash at the Military and Veterans Kids Ball. He was there to give a soundtrack to the evening, playing music. Side note, you should totally check out the episode on the ball. It was so much fun and filled with badass women on all levels. Well, I got to talking with Clash, because I do that. Seriously, I can talk to anyone and I love it. Still working on my interviewing skills, but talking, yeah, that I can do. Anywho, I got to meet Clash's lovely wife, Heidi, and her adorable mother. She totally reminded me of my own 4'9" tall mother. Clash asked me if there was a song I wanted to hear, and I said raw bass. It takes two. He played it twice that night. Rest in peace, Mr. Bass. Now, Clash himself, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he is an OG. I finally understand that classification of an OG, because that is definitely one. And he has had this amazing life, and he is involved in all this music that when you realize how many songs from your childhood that he's had hands on, you're like, wow. And he's just the nicest guy on top of that. And his wife Heidi is just so sweet. And her cute little mama. So, but here's the thing. I think it's best to let greater people than me talk about Clash. And so I'm going to let them do it. I give you Marley Marl and LL Cool J.
Come on, man.
That's dope.
It's Golden Arizona Radio. It's your boy
Clash was on my
DJ.
nerves that day, right? Homie was like,
DJ Legend, a.k.a. Marley Marl, the building. LL Cool J up in here.
yeah.
And he's talking about what inspired that Come On Man on that record. Now, you know, everybody knows that we did Mama Said Knock You Out up at the House of Hits upstate New York. And, you know, my boy DJ Clash, who does, he does house music Mondays with me with Track Blasters. He does house music now, and we got like 3 million strong. We rocking out on Mondays.
Okay.
But he was the engineer for that session, and let me explain it like this. LL was kind of sick that day. He wasn't really feeling too well, and he came down. I was like, I'm ready to do some vocals, and like he was taking his time rewinding, but Clash was the engineer. He was recording, and LL didn't know that it was recording at the time.
Yeah.
And he looked in the glass and said, "Come on, man!" And that was the beginning of the record. And it was recording. I was like, "That's priceless. That's the beginning of the record."
Yeah. He drove me bananas, man.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah,
Big shout out to Big DJ Clash, man.
Yeah, no. It's all love. It's all love.
Right.
It's all love, no doubt. Shout out to DJ Clash. I don't want you to feel like I'm brutalizing you on radio. You know I love you, homie. I was just thinking about. I was just revisiting and envisioning.
You saw that
moment.
face, right?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No. You saw the face.
Go to that.
You lead the witness and all that. You saw the face, right? You heard the dog bark, right? Yeah. I heard the dog bark. See, you remember Menace? You know that, right? You see
that.
now. Now before
you
told me
right?
it was 10:45. Now you said 9:40.
Hi, Lynn here from Lynn Logic. I hope you're having a good day. I would like to introduce to you my guest for today, QB Clash.
Yes.
Welcome.
Oh. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I figured we get straight into the interview. We've got a lot of ground that we're trying to cover, so I want to make sure that, we get it all covered nicely. All right, so in this first section, we're going to talk about your music career and history and life. And I'd like to start at the beginning. Who were you before you were known as QB Clash? What was your earliest music memory?
Well, to go back to really go back at the age of 2, I had a desire of music. My mother was the type of person that would always play records in the living room, perform it, and back at that time, my mother would never cut my afro off because it's too much like Michael Jackson. So that's what it was about. It was all about Al Green, the Temptations, the Spinners, the Four Tops, and Lou Rawls, and her specialty was like she loved Nancy Wilson. So that's the very, very, very top, the very beginning portion of how I got involved and loved onto music.
What drew you to the music? What made you create a career into it? What were you?
Well, it was the sound that came out of speakers. I was this type of nerdy kid that used to actually open up transistor radios to see if there was little people in it, but there was no little people. I know for sure that it was a phase that I went through. I used to put 45s and 33s on my bed like a blanket. So that's another segment that my mother said, "Oh, wait a minute, something's wrong here, or maybe something's right." So,
I mean, I'm going with something's right.
oh
Um,
yeah, oh yeah.
very right. Music is just, yeah, obviously in your soul. When did you realize that music was going to be such a huge part of your life?
Well, it started with a guy named John McCooler. He was a kind of crazy kid in junior high school. I went to junior high school 125, and this was the only white kid that had a box. And he would play Rush, he would play Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, Queen, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. And I think hearing rock at a time when I lived in the bridge in the projects was kind of there. I was the only, I guess, black kid that loved, rock music, top 40 music, Human League, Kraftwerk,
Yes.
and Yaz, Situation. So
Hmm.
I got into, that's when I started to really hear stuff. And there was a place called the River Park, which was maybe about 4 blocks away. Now, Queensbridge is the largest projects in the world. And to know that you can hear a sound system from 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks away, you can hear the bass kick booming. So I would go to the River Park, and in the River Park, there was a DJ group called the Orr Brothers. And the Orr Brothers had these 15s, Berthas with extensions on them, and they used to play in this like play dirt box, like it was like where kids would play in the box, but they put they sound systems and their amps and everything, and they had these speakers that towered over, and it just was so powerful. And knowing that the first record that would capture me to urban music was a group called Lisa Lisa and the Cult Jam, and the record
I
would be
loved
called
Lisa
"I Wonder If I
Lisa.
Take You Home," and
Say that
that's
record again.
"I Wonder If I Take You Home" was the record, and the track was had this infectious bass line that had dum 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 dum, and that blew my mind away. That's the thing that would really hit the switch button on me for urban records.
Oh, that is amazing. Amazing. I mean, it sounds like it sounds like you were just sort of an amalgamation of all the music surrounding you, and you just soaked it in like a sponge, and then made, you know, what you made, and
Right.
amazing things. And so I'm just impressed. And you know, talk
But
about
well, there's another portion. So
yes.
this this is the portion that shoved everything into full gear. It was a guy named Marley Marl and a guy named DJ Rockwell Noel, rest in peace. And Marley would come out with his equipment, and again in the sandbox. And Marley had this reel to reel, and as he was scratching on it, he made this weird noise that sounded just to my ears. It was like, wow, I know what I want to do now. And that's when I started DJ DC 103. I sounded like an aircraft carrier, but I had to go through many other names because, again, still everybody had Capricorn Kid. So if you were a zodiac sign and you were in the Bronx, of course, Capricorn Kid was already taken. DJ Muggs was kind of like, eh. But the thing that would identify my name, because again, my brother Richard was in the room, and mind you, I'm actually DJing, and this guy named DJ Smurf, who used to live right around the corner from me, he lived in Bernard Fowler's building. Now Bernard Fowler actually sings backup for the Rolling Stones. Then there was another person called Fred Fowler, which who had a record out called "Girl You Need to Change Your Mind." It was on Prism Records. And then there was a guy named DJ Smurf, Havoc's father, the guy from Mobb Deep. Havoc's father is the guy who really taught me how to blend. So I would really have to find an identity to what a name would be. So the conclusion to this part one would be me so involved with Greek mythology. And when the movie Clash of the Titans came out, and the rock band Clash called Rock the Casbah, I said, wait a minute, maybe I should be called DJ Titan. And my brother looked at me and he said, no, 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 you're a Clash. You clash with too many things. You rock band, you disco, you hip hop, you're everything. So you should be called the Clash. And for my brother Richard Smiley, the end of part one, that's my brother. I love him, and I thank him for giving me the DJ name Clash.
And it is a great name, especially knowing that history now. That is awesome.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
and I love Clash of the Titans. It's one of my favorite movies.
good movie, excellent movie.
And I love the owl, the robotic owl.
Oh yes,
You can clearly see the excitement in my face as I get to listen to these stories. I love people's stories. A movie I loved growing up was Fahrenheit 451. Yes, it is a book by Ray Bradbury, but I love the 1966 movie. Let me explain my correlation here. Let me start with the end of the movie. Yes, I am spoiled. Let me start with the end of the movie. Yes, I am spoiling it. It came out in 1966. The statute of spoiling limitations has long since passed. People became the books. They memorized the books and retell the stories on repeat. Now, for this to work, They had to remove people having stories about themselves. So they, in essence, remove individuality in people. Everyone is the same, the world is bland, and the littlest thing excites these shell people. However, people are not like that. People are the stories. They live, they have experiences, they learn, they create. And QB Clash, one hell of a story. And one hell of a creation. Hey, guess what? We're going to be right back after this commercial. For reals, a commercial.
Some names are written in textbooks. Others are carried in families, churches, classrooms, and communities. Legacy Makers brings those stories to the screen, honoring African American leaders, innovators, freedom fighters, artists, educators, and builders whose courage changed history. With cinematic storytelling and powerful reflection, each episode reveals the sacrifice behind the legacy and the humanity behind the legend. Watch Legacy Makers, now streaming on Elrod TV Network at elrodtvnetwork.com.
Hey,
Hi.
hey.
Hi. All right. So, hi, Lynn here again from Lynn Logic, and I hope you enjoyed those commercials. We are back with QB Clash.
Yes. Glad
Um,
to be back.
I thank you for so much, first off, for being on. Um, but I want to talk about the road that you went on, the journey, the lessons, the storms. You know, what has music taught you about life?
Oh man, whenever you're frustrated, whenever you're off the chain, off the rector, off the scale, off the something, music is always that background to always put you in a better spot, put you in a calmer spot, it puts you in a place that your cares are gone. And at that point in time, that was the thing that really kind of put me in a place where I needed to just roll with life. But when I couldn't roll with life, music was kind of the key that made me either more excited, more happier, because anything that was different on the radio, especially when it was programmed by Frankie Crocker and especially B.K. Kirkland. Those two program directors in New York City were also another gateway to, hey, a gateway to freedom. It was a gateway to breakdancing. It was a gateway to graffiti.
Yes. The pretty pictures.
Yeah, so as far as like this, I wasn't tagging on trains. I was tagging on books. So I might understand that I've been tagging on some trains. So
Don't,
otherwise,
no, you're up there on the bridges hanging upside down.
so
No.
we're tagging in books, but that's
Yeah.
the real thing. You know, WBLS radio was the number one radio show. Like in all, like there was competition, which was Kiss FM, and Kiss FM. Don't get me wrong, they had Red Alert, and Chuck Chill Out, and Shep Pettibone and Tony Humphrey. They had really good mixers on there. But when it came down to WBLS and Ted Courier, Timmy Regisford, Merlin Bob, Marley Marl, you had Bobby Condes, Naeem Johnson. So you had these figures on radio that would change the identity to radio and to how we heard things on the street because, of course, there was no internet back then. It was a radio. It was a box.
Yes.
So, and by the way, I kept my box all the way from the 80s and it's sitting right there in that corner. So you got to
Well,
see
now
it.
I want to see it.
Oh, well,
Of course he did. That's what cats do.
this box
Oh, look at
that
it.
brung it
Oh, I
back.
remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the Panasonic
It's still
wonderful
in good condition.
boxiness. It is in great
Look,
condition.
look
Look
at
at
that.
that. Oh,
1986.
yep. I
So
can picture you walking with it on your shoulder.
man, listen, this is me all day. My mother was,
Right?
what are you doing? It was that noise. It was a good type of noise. See, nowadays,
Uh,
the other noise that we hear on the radio is not. That ain't radio.
right? No, this was the new noises. They were all brand new.
So
Yeah.
that
Oh, I
was
love that.
to set it off. I had to do some hand glides with it. So I had fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Praise this one. What challenges did you face along the way?
Um, I think living in the bridge and not knowing how to. I stayed away from everybody really. I was always in my books. My mom always told me to stay in the books. She always told me to make sure that I made something of my life. And knowing that Molly Marl would actually live next door to me, I had to really push my life into because I really did not like. I didn't like high school,
Hmm.
and I met with
Same.
when Marley would do Magic's Mr. Magic Rap Attack, which was a big Magic and Marley broke records all across America. If it wasn't for this station, you wouldn't have never had the breakdowns. You wouldn't have never really heard hip hop the way it was out. But to know if there was no Magic, there would have been no Marley Marl, and if there was no Marley Marl, there would have been no Clash. So, but
And
the
we are
challenge
thankful there's a clash.
the
Very
challenge
thankful.
was I was in high school. I was a senior. Now, mind you, when you went into radio, you had to been a college, you know,
Hmm.
and then you go in as a college intern. But I was so persistent. I think it took me 16 different times. The human resource director named Beverly Osborne, I begged, and until the last time I was on my knees. I said, "Listen, you gotta let me in. I'll promise you, I'll get an A+ on my internship. And if I don't succeed, you can just kick me out in front of everybody, and I'll be the laughing stock." But that never happened. I got an A+
Okay.
out of my internship. I went to the programming department, the promotions department, and the continuity department. So I had to pass each three of these departments to meet up with Francine Cruz, who is, again, another person who was very instrumental in the programming department. Champagne, special shout outs to you as well. They all live in Florida. I guess we all went places. We all got scattered about. But to put the staple in this, Marley was the governing factor. When Magic left, Marley would go to In Control. I would follow along with that, and I would meet stars from DOC, NWA. I would meet up with King T, Chubb Rock, the Juice Crew, which again would be the now repositioning myself from being an intern at WBLS, passing the internship, and then opening up to another field because there was a guy named Mitt, On Time Mitt, and he lived on Vernon Boulevard. He was Marley Marl's second engineer. And when he actually got into engineering, I think there was a mishap where something happened in the studio and some knobs and everything got broken. God bless him. I'm not trying to shatter the dead. Rest in peace, Mitt. Um, Marley then, I guess this is the conclusion of part two. The best form this, LL Cool J comes up a week before because Mike Tyson was there at the radio station as well. So it was my first time ever, and he was at the prime peak of his life. And L was loving Big Daddy Kane. Now, Kane's right there in that corner, right there, because I worked with Kane on this LP and the one right there in that corner. So, in conclusion, L would be like, Marley, I love what you do for Big Daddy Kane. Can you give me a track like Kane? So Marley then asked me, he says, listen, would you like to become an engineer? I don't know nothing about engineering, but I'll try it out. So I left BLS. The Frankie Crocker then changed up the format. No hip hop is to be played anymore. So now, right on time to get to Marley Marl's House of Hits, my first session would be that person right there, Coogee rapping Polo. The cut was called Cold Cuts. They loved me so much that my personality was funny to them, and I was funny to them, and he was funny to me. God bless DJ Polo, rest in peace. I was at his funeral 2 years ago, so
Mm.
rest in peace. But that would be the real game changer. Me going in as a recording engineer would really solidify and really stamp a real DJ class. So out of the stuff that you see on the wall, that's only a little.
Hmm.
That's only 19 records. I got about close to 300 records more to fill up this room. So
Oh, that you've mixed on?
yes, literally.
Ah,
So,
We'll be right back after the second commercial because I did it twice.
Kristen Olinga, co-host of Thirsty Conversations. We just finished having an amazing conversation with comedian Rosie Tran. We talked about life, we talked about love, we talked about everything under the sun. So please check it out at elrodtvnetwork.com. Thanks. See you there.
here we go. Hi, we're back again. All
right.
right. So, for our final segment, I'd like to talk about music in the now. What role do you have in music in your day-to-day life? What are you working on now?
Well, today I'm actually doing a lot of gospel house. I do very little secular house records. You know, from time to time, I'll have some DJ tools that will actually get DJs. So if they're like in a tight squeeze of going in from the transitioning of one record to another, they use my tools or they use other DJ tools as well. So those are the things. And our special shout outs to Sammy Rock and Jason AJ Summers, who actually got me into Reasons. Of course, Molly Mall. Through COVID, we had to do some producing. So,
Hmm. Now, and I actually met you. You were spinning at the the military and veterans kids ball. And, thank you so much for that, obviously. But, I know that that's in your heart and everything as well. So I appreciate that. So,
okay.
yeah.
But what I'm doing right now is, again, like I said, I'm doing a lot of Afro house. Um, Special shouts also to Big Will Rosario for kind of keeping me in the loop. Without that dude, me and him did a Dindada remix, and it was on Sweating Records. That was maybe about 16, 17 years ago, but it also pivoted me to a radio station called WQFS 90.9 FM, where we have more than 3.7 million online listeners. So God just keeps on getting better. Every time I believe that something is not written yet, it starts again and then starts again. So I meet a lot of different people in this profession. Special shout outs to Steve Harrington, um, house music master mixers like Louis Vega. Louis is a very pivotal stratosphere DJ who also inspires me to be the best I can be as well. Special shout outs to Spinner and Caliban, who actually plays on the radio station as well with me, and Deuce Martinez. Deuce, that's my dude right there.
We
Dude,
love Deuce.
Deuce, Deuce is wild. So I gotta special shout outs to Deuce Martinez.
So, I know that you will come and actually spin at events for people that all you got to do is just contact him, and I will be putting all his contact information on here as well. I know that um, your heart is in with faith and God and what you're doing, and I commend you for it. So, in regards to the type of events that you are looking to do these days, what is it? What is your preference?
So if there's venues such as corporate parties or baseball stadiums, which I have actually DJed for as well, weddings, of course, um, whatever is the slide. Mostly, I do a lot of old school parties. Recently I just did a gospel house, and so I had to kind of really dig in the crates on that one as well. So there was some Clark sisters in there, some Reverend
Oh,
Cleveland, and some Yolanda Adams, a little mixture of Mary and everything. So um, that's the position of where I'm doing the DJing part of it. It also stems again still from the records that you see on this wall behind me. Um, the one thing I did want to actually put out as far as the love of music and the love of engineering, and the reason why I DJ a different way from any other DJ, um, I got to understand really what was the parts behind the music. When knowing that you can separate things from kicks to hi hats to ad libs to 5 part harmonies, it it really paints a really better picture because you're seeing what's behind the story. But then when you're DJing it, it's like, even when my wife was like, she said, "Around the way, girl, you engineered that." I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "What was it like to, work with an L? These records right here, these are classics. These are timeless records. The records that I'm DJing right now on, and the last part I did for Anthony Jordan. Anthony Jordan also, yeah, I got to show you this real quick. Oh my goodness. Whenever I go to rocking a party, these are the hats I play music on. I play the best on these. And right here it's inscribed, "I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." So he really puts it in. He prays over these hats. I got also a certificate as well. So with
wow.
music and places like I like wearing my baseball cap. I love the Yankees. Love the Yankees all the way. Go Knicks. I don't know what New York was
Hmm.
tearing up the place, but that's not me. As
I
far
saw
as,
what they did to a school bus.
oh yeah, so, but as far as the music goes, I make sure that I'm an entertainer first. Secondly, I make sure that I understand the three goes. And I know that DJs, we all got a different type of psychology behind music. But if I see you toe tapping, that's the first part. If I
Mm.
see you mimicking the words out of your mouth without singing it, but I can see it visually, I know that's part two. And three, if I got you on the floor screaming, that's it.
Yeah, you done. You
Then
done.
it's
Yep.
done. But I always try to tell ladies, take them heels off. You're gonna have some bad luck. And I ain't gonna do that. And I get hurt. Yeah, okay. Now you understand. But
I
that's
would tell you, I wore tennis shoes that night, and I was very happy that I wore tennis shoes.
I'm glad you did. There was no heel wearing with me.
No.
So music is the driving force. It's always been the heartbeat. It's always been. It expresses. It can bring you back to a memory, and that's the best thing about music. When you hear an old school record or a new school record, it brings you back into time. And
Hmm.
that's really, if I'm on the mic, usually I get into the mindset, if I'm playing some R&B or what have you, yeah, I remember going into grown folks parties as a little kid. I used to sneak in them to understand really what they were doing. I took a really good look. I said, "Oh, okay, so this is what they be doing," and I knew what they were playing, so it made it much more easier. So when I do play, I know exactly what to play, especially when it's old school. But if it isn't old school and it's something that I got to look at, the top 100 on Billboard, that's what I'm using. So
Well,
as
thank you for playing for me, Rob Bass that night.
oh,
It takes two. Thank
and,
you.
and rest in power to Rob Booth
Ah,
and Easy Rock.
yes.
Really, I know that's going to hit the hip hop industry quite differently because these rappers that we all grew up with.
I saw Rob Bass in it was 1996, probably 1997, right around there. He had played a party. I was a raver in the 90s, And I saw him actually a couple of times, but that was the first time was in probably 96. And I mean, I danced the entire night away. Entire night away. I mean, I even convinced my sister who didn't want to go to raves. I was like, come on, you can go and see Rob Bass. Come on, we're going to go see Rob Bass. And she's like, okay, fine. I'm like, yeah, you're going to go. And it was so much fun. Are you kidding me? It was so much fun. So, and I got to see RZA in Colorway. I went to college in Asheville and at Warren Wilson College, and I had friends that went to Western NC and up in Cullowhee, North Carolina. And so my happy ass, they were like, RZA's playing for $8. Excuse me. Yes, we're gonna go see RZA tonight. And so I'm over in there. I mean, it was an amazing experience. It was a small venue, like it was, these tiny clubs. They weren't, these huge stadiums during this time. And so you get to see them in such a more personable area where you can relate to that music. Watching the DJs mix the records right there, just like what you do, it's a whole different experience with music because the music is coming right there. It's being created right there. And then when you start in on the other stuff that you guys do and on the engineering side, I mean, I gotta tell you, after my blood clot, I use music to get my memory back, and I appreciate every minute of it.
Amen.
So I appreciate everything that you do. I mean, the creation of the music and everything that you've had your hand in, and the massive amount of just joy that you bring. So I appreciate you.
More than appreciated. More than
Thank you so much, Clash, for being here.
thank you, thank you, thank you. So sorry.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with QB Clash. I know I did. Check out the Lynn Logic library for more, or email me at lynnlevine@gmail.com if you've got questions, if you'd like to be a guest, or if you'd like me to be a guest on whatever you're working on. Don't go dirty there. I know where your mind went. Don't do it. Don't do it. I hope you have a great day, and stay tuned because I'm sure that I will have outtakes in here. Alrighty, bye-bye. WQFS 90.9 FM House Music Mondays, DJ Clash and DJ Deuce Martinez. WQFS 90.9 FM House Music Mondays, DJ Clash and DJ Deuce Martinez. WQFS 90.9 FM House Music Mondays, DJ Deuce Martinez and DJ Clash. Testing, 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 test these. Let me explain something. Oh wait, that wasn't supposed to be like that. Here, my microphone, macrophone. I don't think there is there a microphone. If there's a microphone, is there a macrophone? Now I'm gonna have to Google that later. Wonder where that hole will lead me to. Anybody else do the downward spiraling thing where you're like, I'm gonna look up what that statue is about and how it was made, and then like downward spiral, and now I'm looking up bombs called daisy cutters from the Vietnam War that would make a perfect circle in the middle of a jungle so that helicopters could land. Yeah, they're called daisy cutters. One of the few domestic variants that ultimately led to a Okay, so when Zoom first became more popular and everything because of COVID, I just want to point out that I was never looking at anyone else. I was always making faces at the camera and looking at myself. And so much so, during a meeting, I don't know what I was doing because I was just looking at myself in the camera and going like, like making faces and doing shit with my mouth. And my boss finally was like, Lynn, what are you doing? It's like picking your nose in a car. You just don't assume people can see you. At least when it first came out, it was like that. Oh. Okay. Boss is a walking embodiment of oh shit, forgot a whole line. 90.9 FM. 90.9 FM. What happens when you guys find out that I have orange soda in this thing? Oops, you just found out. I like orange soda, and I love orange flavored things because they all taste the same. They have one same not organic, let me take that back, that's not taste like that. But all the food that's supposed to taste like oranges that are sweet, they all taste exactly the same. I mean, orange soda tastes like a melted popsicle to me. Just like a popsicle tastes like an orange lollipop that's cold. So. I hope you enjoyed this episode with DJ Queen's. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed this I hope you enjoyed this. Now stop being a dick to yourself. I hope you. House Music Mondays. DJ Deuces. Okay.